I wanna feel alive, feel the blood inside my veins. I wanna slow the time, will you slow it down with me? I think I need to find what it means to be okay. It's broken by design, can't live life without some pain, yeah. And I know I'll keep running, no, I'll be something you won't see me coming. I grow, I keep punching, I grow, I keep hunting. No, I need nothing, supposed to be something so close to me, jumping out in the worst kind of way. You took all of my time and didn't give it back to me. Wasn't enough, and I don't know what to say. You wanna fall in love, but don't wanna feel the pain. And I'm so low, cause I don't know if I'm alone, if I'm unknown. But I won't go, no I won't go. You ain't never gonna slow me down, cause I feel alive now. I'm gonna go insane, always on the grind, but still everything's the same. I'm sick of wasting time, wish I didn't feel this way. But with this kind of mind, I will figure out my lane, yeah. It's the highs and the lows, the change and the woes, all the fame on the coast and the pain no one knows. I want the time just to slow, my mind's feeling low. Say I'm fine, but I know that I might be alone. Fell in the worst kind of way. You took all of my time and didn't give it back to me. Wasn't enough, and I don't know what to say. You wanna fall in love, but don't wanna feel the pain. And I'm so low, cause I don't know if I'm alone, if I'm unknown. But I won't go, no I won't go. You ain't never gonna slow me down, cause I feel alive now. Give it back to me, was it enough? And I don't know what to say. You wanna fall in love, but don't wanna feel the pain.
I'm just enough to make you smile, and you need me to hold you close, and all your fears that you dream of disappear and flutter on. Whoa, hold on just a little. We'll meet right here in the middle ground is where we'll stand. Let go of the riddle, 'cause you'll find life is a riddle that we're not meant to understand. But I'm so just look on, and I'll look down, and all your fears have run aground. Then you said all I ever wanted was to love like this. ease. All I ever needed was to feel like something more than a closed door flat on the floor. I can offer so much more. All I ever wanted was to feel at ease. All I ever needed was to get up off my feet. 'Cause I believe in love. Hold on just a little. We'll meet right here in the middle ground is where we'll stand. Let go of the brittle, 'cause you'll find life is a riddle that we're not meant to understand. Stop.
Infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power. Infinite power. Infinite power, 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 power. Infinite power.
break your chains, we have the key. Open your eyes and see. We are the ones who know the answers, and they ain't never gonna hold us back. The sea is rising like we dancers. Imagine life without a purpose. Now picture everything you're fighting for. Now picture everything you're fighting for. Open your eyes and see. We are the ones who know the answers, and they ain't never gonna hold us back. The sea is rising like we dancers. Imagine life without a purpose. Now picture everything you're fighting for. Now picture everything you're fighting for.
back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go.
Now we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead.
Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go.
Back from the dead.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
But it's too late now. I remember you and me, and how careless we could
Yeah.
be.
All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us, like a good drug, never enough.
We hook up in my car, driving so far, play your guitar, you show me your art, let down our guards, think with our hearts, stare at the stars, we were never apart, drinking too young, way too much fun, out in the sun, no pain when it's gone, took you to prom, dance to our song, dance all night long till the lights come on.
How careless we got. It's too
late now. I remember everything and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. Nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive. We would go out, we were so loud, we were so proud, we had no doubts. Weekends and weekdays, we'd spend our own way. We were careless, we were fearless, we were reckless, time was precious.
We loved to waste time, whiskey and wine, drinking all night, asleep by your side. Finally alive, we would just drive, never arrive. Our journey was live, staying out late, testing our fate, running away. We live for today, young and so bold, never get old. Screw what we're told, we can't be controlled.
Now I remember everything and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. How careless we could be.
It's too late now, I remember you and me. And how careless we could be.
Footballing action coming up on this service.
I thought we had it all. This is our story. It's written.
Back four of Lewis, Godfrey, Hanley and Aarons, Tribal and Lawrence, Tribal and Light are the holding players in midfield with Grenadier, Stuyvesant and Cantwell supporting Timo Pukki as the lone striker. For Chelsea, two big changes for them. Tammy Abraham comes in for Oliver Giroud and there's no N'Golo Kante, so Kovacic comes in midfield. So it's Ritha Balaga in goal, Emerson, Christiansen, Zuma and Aspilicueta the back four, Pulisic, Jorginho, Kovacic, Mount and Pedro the midfield with Abraham the lone striker. A team looking for a first win of the season meets one aiming to be in the top six by the end of the weekend, but it's role reversal on the norm with Norwich in buoyant mood. They are unchanged this afternoon with Tim Krul in goal, back four of Lewis, Godfrey, Hanley and Aarons, Tribal and Light are the holding players in midfield with Grenadier, Stuyvesant and Cantwell supporting Timo Pukki as the lone striker. For Chelsea, two big changes for them. Tammy Abraham comes in for Oliver Giroud and there's no N'Golo Kante, so Kovacic comes in midfield. So it's Ritha Balaga in goal, Emerson, Christiansen, Zuma and Aspilicueta the back four, Pulisic, Jorginho, Kovacic, Mount and Pedro the midfield, with Abraham the lone striker. A team looking for a first win of the season meets one aiming to be in the top 6 by the end of the weekend, but it's role reversal on the norm with Norwich in buoyant mood. They are unchanged this afternoon with Tim Krul in goal, back 4 of Lewis, Godfrey, Hanley and Aarons, Tribal and Leitner the holding players in midfield, with Buendia, Stuyperman and Cantwell supporting Timo Pukki as the lone striker. For Chelsea, 2 big changes for them. Tammy Abraham comes in for Oliver Giroud and there's no N'Golo Kante, so Kovacic comes in midfield. Well, we'll leave that there because we are just getting underway in our game. Norwich City against Chelsea. Independent off-tube studio commentary from this game from Carrow Road. And Norwich in buoyant mood, as we said, after their win against Newcastle, bouncing back well from that first game against Liverpool. Chelsea still hunting that first victory of the season. They've had to make a change as well. An update on the team news we were just giving you, because in the warm-up it appears that Pedro has got injured, so Ross Barkley has come into the midfield. Just trying to confirm who's on the bench now as well with the change round, if they can bring an extra man in, but we will confirm everything for you shortly. But certainly Ross Barkley is on the field. It's myself, Steve Pearson and John Hogan bringing you this game this afternoon. John, I think we expect a lively opening encounter with these two.
I think so. The loss of Pedro, I mean, that's a big loss. He's actually been Chelsea's best player this season. You know, that Super Cup final, I thought he was man of the match. He was brilliant. So I think they're trading down with Ross Barkley. For Norwich, well, yeah, they've got Pukki, so they've got goals in them. I just think that, you know, without Onel Hernandez, who was brilliant last season on that left-hand side, they lack the pace and incision. I don't know too much about Todd Cantwell. We'll have to see. Norwich were great last season. They really were. They were the best team in their division, and you know, went up by right, and they thoroughly deserved it. They've been to Anfield and scored a goal. I think home form will be vital. I think they've got enough to stay up. You know, they could be one of those who surprise a few teams, but obviously, you know, Chelsea are one of the big guns. So this game, it could go either way.
And all the promoted sides, of course, now underway in terms of the wins, with Villa's victory over Everton last night, and Sheffield United coming up later on this service as well against Leicester City. But for the moment, it's Norwich we keep an eye on. It's Norwich who have the majority of the possession, but for the minute they are penned back in their own half. Jamal Lewis will play the ball square, and they'll try and find a new way out down that right hand side. They're perfectly happy to be on the ball, of course, is Norwich side, comfortable with it. They come forward with Stuyperman through the centre again. He's blocked out on this occasion, can't get the possession back. Pulisic gets a challenge in, he flies in again. Referee Martin Atkinson happy with the challenge. Leitner a little less so, as he looks pleadingly at the referee. Nothing to come from that. The ball played all the way square to Zuma under a little bit of pressure immediately. It gets the ball away and Chelsea have possession.
You know, I saw Pulisic seen him play a couple of times now. Really impressed with him. You know, yeah, he's not got the scamper that Eden Hazard has. What he's got, though, is a fantastic ability on the right foot. He picks a pass like Beckham. Look at that, just a lay off to the right hand side for Aspelqueta. Super ball. Oh, it's a goal. Tammy Abraham wheels away, having right foot thumped it in. I mean, all that is laid up by Pulisic's perfect ball to the flank. The cut back great, and the goal great too. Abraham, yeah, brilliant strike, right foot. 1-0 Chelsea.
Early stages, but it's already Chelsea who have the advantage. They lead by a goal to nil, and it's Tammy Abraham who's back in the side who has scored it. It was nice work down the right hand side. Pulisic had been battling and probing through midfield, and eventually he picked up possession on the right hand side, waited and played a little ball down the line looking for the overlapping Aspelqueta. He pulled it back across from the byline, and when it found its way to the far post, Abraham on the turn, first time right footed into the corner. Chelsea have the advantage. Quick update on the team news, by the way. Pedro injured in the warm-up, therefore Ross Barkley on from the start, but it's Chelsea who lead by a goal to nil.
Really a super technique from Tammy Abraham. But that, for me, it's all about Pulisic. When he picks up that ball right hand side, you think, well, alright, there's nothing much on. You know, but he's brought that ball down. His control was brilliant with it. You know, he brings the ball in close and then he's waiting. He's waiting for the perfect moment. And I'm thinking, well, he's special on his right foot, but he's got it his right foot. And what he cleverly does, he just measures that perfect ball with his left to put the skipper in Azpilicueta, and then he's right at the byline and there's nobody near him. So, he chips a ball in right from the byline. When you're cutting that ball back, it's so much easier. They did have bodies in the box there, and that was impressive from Chelsea too. Abraham was close to his marker, but because he took it first time, he didn't take a touch, and it was a super hit. He just drills it straight to the back of the net. That for me is a brilliant team goal. But honestly, you'll watch it and you think, so what? Pulisic got the ball in and passed. He is so precise. Honestly, he's like Beckham with the weight of ball and all that. I saw it in the Super Cup when he found Giroud with an inch perfect ball that put him right in at the angle. All he had to do was pass it into the back of the net. He's come with a big price tag and he's only 20. But, he's going to be great to watch this season.
Yeah, I must admit, one of the buys of the, I suppose last transfer window in that sense, because obviously he was brought in a little earlier before the problems that Chelsea have had, therefore, in the transfer market and the inability to sign players. But here come Norwich through the centre, little ball square onto the left-hand side. Pookie pulls it back across, opportunity, and it's a goal! Norwich have got the equaliser. I think it's Cantwell who's got it at the near post. Nice little bit of work, and Cantwell pops up, slides it home, 1-1.
Well, who are you? Well, Todd Cantwell's the name. Joining and supporting the Attack's My Game. Just 21 years of age there, and he joins in, doesn't he? We're trying to get that near post. Made a brilliant run from midfield, and that's what Norwich did all last season. It's a numbers game. They always support attacks, and he gets a tap in.
Fabulous response from Norwich. They are back to 1-1 almost straight away after Tammy Abraham's opener. It was nice work through the centre by Norwich. Buendia playing the ball across. It came to Pookie. On this occasion, he's the supplier rather than the scorer. He just rolls the ball in towards the near post. Cantwell comes racing into the 6-yard box, gets a toe end on it. Adebalaga, no chance at all. And Norwich are back on level terms straight away. It's Norwich 1, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, that's brilliant from Norwich. I mean, absolutely, Buendia's part in that goal can't be understated. When Buendia picks it up, and Tammy Abraham thought he'd been fouled, but he hadn't. Play develops from there. Buendia takes the ball. But when you've got Pookie, who's absolutely on fire and a goal scorer, doing the right thing there, you know that there's such a good team. A real togetherness about Norwich City. And he fires a perfect ball in. As we see a long-range shot and nearly spilled by the keeper there. Tim Krul just about gathers it at the second attempt. Well, we may be in for a lively game if they're going to score 2 goals every 8 minutes. So, really a terrific start to the game on a beautiful sunny day at Carrow Road. The Chelsea fans are in 7th heaven, and now it's time for the Canaries fans to really enjoy it as well. But we could be in for a right old goal fest today.
27 degrees in the shade apparently at Carrow Road today, so a little warmer than that on the field. Beautiful sunshine. Fans and players resplendent in yellow, of course, for 3/4 of the ground, and they are the ones who are enjoying it again after a little breathe in and an sharp intake of breath after Abraham's goal. Right straight back onto it, and they are controlling possession at the moment and playing through this midfield. And of course, Pookie again down the right hand side. He's got support inside if you can find it. Might fancy his chances. He's blocked out though in the end. Doesn't get the option to get into the penalty area and get a strike, and his cross is cleared away. But it's Norwich who immediately win the ball back again. They are doing really well here, Norwich, as you'd expect. Tribal in possession, has support again. It's a little bit tight, but it's very quick, very sharp from this Norwich side, and they are tearing this Chelsea midfield apart at times. But fortunately for Chelsea, at least most of the time, the defence is settled. And Barkley in the centre of that midfield now rolls the ball to the right hand side for Azpilicueta to come forward, but very easy, as we've found with Chelsea at times so far this season, John, that teams will play around them and through them through that midfield section, and then it's up to the defence to try and deal with it, because the players in front of them aren't.
This bunch play a bit of football. Did Tammy Abraham get caught by Godfrey as he's trying to clear his lines? He might have. When he's trying to clear the ball, I think he might have kicked the boot of Godfrey. They're showing us that again as if, that might have been a free kick before the Norwich goal. I don't think so. I cleverly said that I didn't think Pookie would score many goals this season because they wouldn't get enough ball. But when you watch them playing today and working hard for each other, against a good Chelsea side, I think 50-50 possession so far. And that's easier said than done. They were, like I said, they were terrific last season, a joy to watch. I wasn't sure that they could carry it on and continue it, But they're playing some good football, just to say that. Of course, Tim Krul blams the ball out of play. But they're looking for each other. They're a good passing team, and they fire bodies forward. It's very much in the mould of like an Eddie Howe team. You know, it's a numbers game. They'll always support the attacks. You know, they play properly. They've got a bit of dynamism and certainly a goal scorer in Pookie. I like the full-backs. They're the best in the Championship last season, Lewis and Aarons. They've got pace about them. And yeah, they're pretty strong through the middle. So they've got a lot going for them, and we're seeing that right now.
Kovacic gets good challenging on Lewis as he threatens to be racing away down the left-hand side, and Chelsea able to clear, but the lone figure of Abraham has found himself surrounded by yellow shirts, and the situation tidied up by Grant Handley back to his goalkeeper. Norwich have possession again inside their own half. Pulisic and Barkley are up very quickly to try and press though on this Norwich side, and that's clearly Chelsea's tactic at the moment. Try and keep Norwich playing the ball inside their own half, force the mistake, and they have done now as Lewis gives the ball away, or rather Godfrey I should say gives it away. Lewis it is who tries to get it forward down the left hand side, but well blocked this time. Andres Christiansen, right man, right place, right time, just to tidy things up. And Chelsea will just try and settle down and get themselves into a little bit of possession through that midfield area, at least for a few seconds or so. Yes.
When Campbell scored the goal, I was just thinking there was a man in behind him, wrong side of him, and that was Ross Barkley. I don't think Pedro would have been there chasing back with Campbell, do you? But maybe they've swapped things around. But yeah, he just didn't quite get there. But anyway, they can make amends now. Here come Chelsea.
Yeah, Mason Mount lays the ball off for the aforementioned Barkley. Good ball towards the edge of the box. Pulisic finds Mount. He tries a little flick through, looking for the run again of Pulisic inside the D, but this time it's cleared away. Long ball headed away by Zuma, but straight back to Norwich, who are onto it quickly, but that's better from Mason Mount as well, who seems to have settled into the game in midfield after the first couple of minutes, where he just looked a little bit lost for a second or two. And as you said, maybe that changed with Barkley. Just meant the one or two players a little bit offset for the first 5 minutes or so until they knew how Norwich were playing, and then Frank Lampard's got the right messages across, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to work out that, but there's no doubt that they miss Pedro. Like I said, I think he's been their best player at the start of the season. And you know, the other weird thing about it is I've often thought Pedro scampers and doesn't really contribute, but he absolutely had been, and he looks as fit as I've ever seen him. So maybe he got a great pre-season into him, and you know, just seemed to be everywhere on the pitch. Maybe he would have got there and stopped the run of Campbell. We'll never know. But you know, having made a good start, Chelsea, and a brilliant goal, then to sort of be clawed back so quickly just brings them crashing back down to earth.
Possession now though, on the initial stats of the first 10 minutes showing Norwich with 66% of the possession, but suggest over the last 2 or 3 that it's gone a little more 50-50 at the moment as Arapalaga gets it back from Azpilicueta and finds Barkley, can now bring it forward. Poor ball though by Ross Barkley. I'm not sure if he's expecting Kovacic to move further forward there. He sort of puts his arms out after he's played the ball, but now he does apologise for the overhit pass. And Chelsea giving the ball away cheaply, which you don't really want to be doing at all. As they come forward again, Norwich down the right hand side. Their way is blocked though by 3 Chelsea players as Abraham comes across to put the claw around these Norwich defenders and just try and stop them from having an easy route up towards the halfway line. They have extricated themselves now though. Not the best ball onto the right hand side, and a poor flick inside by Aarons this time, who's now out of position. Norwich need to reset as Pulisic races away down the left hand side. Options inside. The ball is worked through by Kovacic towards Abraham. He tried a little flick over the top looking for the run of Mason Mount, who actually was on the left hand side rather than Pulisic. But Chelsea finally have a little bit of possession inside the Norwich half of the field, and they do well here. There's opportunities perhaps in the penalty. They can pull the ball back across. They do towards the far post, but Max Aarons first to react to it, clears the ball downfield, but with only Pookie up there, no real option for Norwich. And Pookie is not a man who will win the ball in the air. He's happy for the defenders to deal with that. He'll try and pick up the scraps and create something from it in terms of a goal scoring opportunity, obviously should it come. Chelsea again looking for a free kick inside the Norwich half. Referee waves it away as Mount gets back to his feet after the challenge from Leitner. And Leitner this time tries to get away down the right hand side. Jorginho though comes back to cover.
Well, when we just saw Kovacic race into the box there for Chelsea, it's because again an inch perfect pass from Pulisic. The number 22 really catches the eye when he's on the ball. Honestly, he's a super player. and pretty soon everybody will be on the case, lauding him and giving him this and that accolade because he's just so good to watch. He a little bit reminiscent of De Bruyne, I suppose. He's got similar attributes, but again, a very different sort of player. I'm trying to think of, you think of like the best passes in the Premier League, and I'd certainly think he already, I think he'd be one of those who's in the top 5 of the best passes we've ever seen in the Premier League. I've only seen him twice, but he's a real talent.
Free kick here for Chelsea. Kovacic got away from Stiepermann, who had one of those I really can't be bothered to chase you in the sunshine challenges. Just put his hands on his shoulder, pulled him back a little bit. Referee happy that it's not a yellow card in this sense. We'll just give the free kick in the early stages of the game. A little bit of leniency perhaps from Martin Atkinson. It was a long way from goal and there were plenty of defenders in front of Stiepermann.
I would have given me a yellow card for that.
I would agree, absolutely.
I mean, if somebody gets past you haul them down. That's not football, is it? That's rugby league.
Yeah, so we'll see that later in the sunshine, as they say. Yes, got to agree that referee keeping his cards in his pocket for the moment as Chelsea have a free kick. Long way from goal though, right hand side. They'll try and whip it into the area. Zuma and others up from the back. And looks like it's a toss-up between Mason Mount and Emerson, who will actually chip it in. It's Mount who's going to take it right-footed. He looks towards the far post, looking for Zuma. Flicks off a defensive head and goes behind for the corner kick.
He's a tall man, Kurt Zuma, isn't he? Probably because he's so stocky, you don't think of him as being that tall, but I think he's at least 6'3". He might even be taller than that, 6'5", I don't know. But he's a big lad, and yeah, he's a proper target, and he and Christensen, obviously with Abraham as well, they've got plenty of height in there. They can just flick that ball in.
And the corner kick will come in from the Chelsea left. Seen swinger from Mount towards the near post. Powerfully headed away though by Godfrey. Dropped straight to the feet of Emerson again though inside the Norwich half. So another opportunity for Chelsea to get the ball in the box, but on this occasion it's rather overhit from Barkley. Drifts well over the top of anybody in the white Chelsea shirt and bounces behind for the goal kick to Norwich. Well, the game has settled down a little after a very frantic first 6 minutes, which saw both sides score. Since then, we've not really seen too many opportunities in front of goal. One long shot from Chelsea from 25 yards that Krul easily dealt with. Here's a chance, though, for Chelsea through the centre. Oh, they've scored the second straight away, just as we were saying. The game has settled down. It's a goal for Chelsea, and it's Mason Mount who gets it. He breaks away into the box, finds space, and gets Chelsea's second.
Yeah, we're just thinking the game had just gone a little bit sleepy, but there they go again, and Chelsea take the lead again. He was such a good season last year, and obviously, Frank Lampard knows all about the qualities of Mason Mount. But it's the two lads who were on loan last season in the Championship against the former Championship side who are getting it all done. Again, we're looking for a weight of pass. The through ball is just magnificent to him, allows him to cut. His next effort is a strike. Is that Pulisic with the assist again? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, it's a perfect ball in. He takes it, controls it, lays it off, and Mount, that's a great goal from him.
We have our third goal already of the afternoon from the sunshine at Carrow Road, and it's Mason Mount who's put Chelsea back in front. It was a beautifully worked goal. The ball played up towards Pulisic on the edge of the box. He laid it off for Mount inside the area, and with 4 Norwich players all dragged to the right hand side of the box, Mount stepped inside, raced across the area and bent a shot into the far corner past the stranded Tim Krul. It's been one of the most settled encounter over the last 10 minutes or so, but Chelsea are back in front at 2-1.
And here come Chelsea again, marauding down the left hand side, but Emerson just forced to check. Abraham's in the middle waiting for the ball from Mount, but he didn't read it. Tammy Abraham. Mount's doing that sort of no look pass, trying to thread it through on the inside. Abraham didn't read it. I don't think we've got the end of our scoring in this game. 3 goals in 18 minutes, not too shabby, eh? And the quality of the goals, I mean, they've all been about teams passing the ball well. Norwich walked it into the back of the net. We saw a perfect overlap for Chelsea's first, and then another brilliant ball, I think, from Pulisic. The ball is so good that it makes up the mind of Mount. It allows him to cut well, and that means he can cut past the defence. Then it's a more simple task of hitting the back of the net. Then he's only really got the goalkeeper to beat, and he's in an acre of space. But the ball's so sympathetic, it's exactly where he wants it. And again, That's what he does. You know, and you think, well, footballers should be able to pass the ball 5 yards. We just saw from Ross Barkley about 10 minutes ago, sometimes they can make it look really difficult. But yeah, he's got a gift, as Pulisic, he really does. Real empathy for his colleagues. He's probably one of those who thinks, oh, he's left-footed, I better give him it there. You know, he'd be one of those. But yeah, he's made a great start.
He's been well schooled in Dortmund as well. And that young side doesn't play in a dissimilar fashion to Chelsea now under Frank Lampard, certainly. There's a certain synergy between the two. He fits the bill for this Chelsea side, as we said. We're on the score sheet so far. You get the feeling it won't be long before he adds his name onto that scorer's sheet during this season for Chelsea, as Norwich have to go again. They reset. Can they respond straight away as they did last time round? Within 3 minutes of the first goal, they have possession inside the Chelsea half, left-hand side. Godfrey comes forward with it, tries to thread a ball through, which he does. Mendia has to go backwards though for the moment, but again, nice interplay from Norwich. There's no panic from them. They keep to their principles, play the ball around, but then when they don't, they've actually lost it with a long ball down the left-hand side, cleared away. Win it back though again here now. Little flick from Cantwell on the back heel, looking for the ball forward. Chelsea again appealing for a free kick that doesn't come. And again, it's just a throw into Norwich down the left-hand side, John.
I mean, Stiepermann's lost the ball a couple of times, but you know what? He'll win it and lose it. Also, he'll have a few shots. But I like that he does that. I like that he tries to break into the box and make a difference. You know, he's not going to sit around in midfield and hang about, rest on his laurels. He wants to get involved at the right end of the park. You know, so yeah, he'll lose the ball a few times and he'll have a few shots. But he's one of those, you know, he keeps on going. Don't know whether it'll be good enough at this standard, but we'll see this season and how many assists and goals he can come up with. A good challenge there by Godfrey, as Pulisic trying to make some ground, and he then hurdles the challenge. Pulisic.
Yeah, well timed from Godfrey, and he had a volley of words for a couple of the players in front of him, but he was left in that position with Pulisic down the right-hand side. I think he was particularly impressed by Lewis or Cantwell there. Two harsh words from the centre half towards those in front of him. But all settled now as Chelsea have possession again, coming forward through the centre. Little ball to Emerson, who's got space if he fancies a strike. He does. It's blocked out at the edge of the box. There's a Norwich player hobbling for a moment. It was Mendia who had come back to make the block just on the edge of his own penalty area. Out of play for a Chelsea throw-in midway inside the Norwich half. Norwich 1, Chelsea 2. The scoreline as Chelsea have possession with Barkley. Go backwards on this occasion. Christiansen's rather fortunate that Kovacic was inside him as he miscontrols the overhit pass, but Chelsea recover and Azpilicueta rolls the ball down the right hand side. Pulisic is there again. He just slips this time. You could see what he was trying to do. He tried to turn inside Godfrey. I think he got the beating of him had he stayed on his feet. He just lost his footing for a second there, Pulisic. The opportunity disappeared on that occasion, but a good start from Chelsea in the first quarter of the game, and some positive signs for Norwich as well. John will take you through to half time.
You look at Pulisic and you see somebody who plays like he's 28 and in his pomp, rather than some kid who's 20, and you know, he just looks the part. Just so impressed with him and impressed with the game. I don't know what it is about the sun shining on a bank holiday weekend. I'm so unused to it, I think. But for Norwich fans to think, oh, hang on, we're 2-1 down, don't get too excited. But the thing is, Norwich are playing well. You know, so I've no doubt that they can grab a goal or two more, go on, even win the game. Chelsea fans listening thinking, oh, right, well, we're playing well. Yeah, you are. It's a great game. You know, and for the neutral, absolutely loving every minute of this. It's real good Premier League quality stuff. That's a terrific ball to Abraham. He lays the ball back, an opportunity. But when the shot comes in, he's on the half turn against Tammy Abraham. Can he get a shot away? He's blocked at source. But they just couldn't find a way through there. And you know, that was good play all the way around. And again, you know, if I'm talking about Stiepermann wanting to get forward for Norwich, look at Mason Mount. You know, he's playing as a proper inside left, getting in the box. You know, Eden Hazard is a player you just can't replace. So what do? You do something different, don't you? Different players make up the team differently. And you know, Pulisic and Mount, I'm thinking, look good. Tammy Abraham, I'm not his biggest fan, but he looks good today. As the cross delivered from the left hand side is blocked away and it'll be an opportunity. Emerson's ball has gone out for a corner.
Yeah, you look at that last attack as well. There could have been a couple of shouts with the for Chelsea for a penalty as well, because Abraham, there was certainly a block in there that was good to start off with. Then Abraham, as he came across,
hits Aaron's on the arm,
does hit him on the arm. Yeah, he's certainly not meaning to hit him. Not that that means anything these days. In some scenarios, but that's not one of them. And then Abraham stayed on his feet when he could have gone down as well. So opportunities for Chelsea still continuing to come as the corner's taken short.
And then it works its way to Emerson from Barkley, who puts a steepling ball in. There's a header. What a save from Tim Krul. Wow, that's a bullet header from Christensen, and he thought he scored. Tim Krul there with the reaction save. As well, the header comes in. Stiepermann caught asleep there, and Christensen dives in, firm header down. What a save.
Yeah, fabulous save from Tim Krul, wasn't it? Ralph Furman, he sat on the bench. You thought when Furman came in he was going to be the one who would take over after his career in Germany, but he hasn't. Tim Krul's still there and proving why.
Yeah, the ball comes in. That's nodded away by Hanley at the near post, and goes through the box. Pulisic, left-footed pass this time, finds Kovacic, and now Christensen lays it back on the inside. In fact, Jorginho, then Emerson. They've still got the big guys up there, but Abraham now waiting as we see Kurt Zouma depart. But they've still got the ball. Jorginho, was he fouled? Apparently, yes, he was, according to Martin Atkinson. Just giving the lowdown on what he thought Tom Trybull had done there, as Jorginho was just caught. They take it too quickly, I think, and Pulisic will have to come back again.
Yeah, too far. The referee indicating that it was too far away from where the challenge was. They do encourage a quick free kick, but as he said, I think he was saying basically it's more than 5 metres away where you've actually played it from. So it's an unfair advantage then to Chelsea. The latest ruling is to get on with the game as quickly as possible should the need arise. Even if there's a booking to be had, get on with it and let the teams play. But on that occasion, Chelsea taking a little bit too of an advantage, and the referee trying to give Chelsea the opportunity when the foul came in from Jorginho because of the quality of ball we've seen into the box. It didn't come, brings it back for the free kick in a very good position just a few metres outside the box.
Yeah, Emerson's got a chance here to sling it in. Mason Mount will go the other way if needs beats from the right. Mount shapes to put it in. Emerson does, too deep. Terrible hit. What a waste of time. And a big build-up for nothing.
After the big build-up, absolutely not a thing as far as that one's concerned. Well, it remains Norwich 1, Chelsea 2. We're not quite sure how, though, because Chelsea have had one really, really good opportunity. A ball in from the left-hand side after a corner hadn't really properly been cleared by Norwich. The cross came in. Stiepermann was sleeping at the far post as Christensen raced in. He got his header in, and Tim Krul with a superb save to push it over the crossbar. Chelsea dominating the recent stages of this game, you would say. Had another couple of opportunities with Abraham and Mount battling inside the box, but neither of them really got the opportunity for a clear shot. We haven't seen anything from Norwich really from an attacking point of view since the goal. Still 2-1 Chelsea.
Really good game of football this, and yeah, City need to get on the ball a little bit more though. Formerly they were the Citizens, I think maybe pre-Man City, until they got taken over by somebody who just happened to have an interest in Canaries, and decided that they were going to wear yellow. And the rest is history. Long time ago that. But yeah, very famous and familiar colours. I wonder, I mean, probably Norwich City fans will tell me I'm being daft, but I'm not sure that too many Norwich teams would have been as good as this team or beaten this current Norwich City team. I do remember the Euro team with Jeremy Goss and all that. They were a good team, maybe they could give them a run for their money, but here comes Chelsea. Ball into the box for Jorginho. Great challenge from McGoffrey, and he blocks him away. I think he needed to shoot straight away there. Jorginho took a touch, two touch, and then all of a sudden his effort is blocked away. But well, they're carving through Norwich at the minute. Trybull needs to get a grip. Leitner needs to get a grip in that middle part of the pitch. As we look at that challenge, terrific from the Norwich defence. But they're getting there too easily, aren't they? Playing through them. I was just going to say in the first 10-15 minutes that Chelsea's press wasn't very good, and that was allowing Norwich to play. But now Chelsea have been able to get on the front foot.
Yeah, and you look at this now, all of a sudden Norwich are looking long ball. You know, they're looking down channels that don't exist at the moment because Chelsea have plenty of players. Christensen, Zuma, who will just sit back. They don't have to worry too much about Pukki in the air because, you know, that's not his game. That's not his game to be a hold-up striker. So you can give him a bit of space, you can give him a bit of leeway, go one-on-one against him, drop centre-halves out, pull other players in to cover the spacing behind Teemu Pukki as well. So from a defensive point of view, long ball game by Norwich suits Chelsea down to the ground this afternoon. As you said, the other end of the field, the press has got better. Mount and Pulisic seem to, after the first 5 minutes, like we said, they seemed a bit offset. It was probably that change with Barkley. It changed around how they were going to have to play with Pedro's injury before the start of the game. But certainly in that situation, that's now settled. They know where they're supposed to be. They're covering the angles off really well. And Norwich are struggling to find that little ball that they want from defence or holding midfielder to that second phase. It isn't there. We see it again here as Leitner gets the ball. He has to turn backwards. Norwich are being patient though, and are starting to just find a little bit of space here.
Yeah, Pukki in the box, an opportunity shot comes in and he's in the back of the net. They've done it again. Teemu Pukki, you can't stop him. It's Norwich 2, Chelsea 2, and all that started, you were bang right, and then there was a little heel in the middle of that, a perfect ball to set them going on the right. What a goal for Teemu Pukki.
The unstoppable Finn is at it again. It's Teemu Pukki who has brought Norwich level at 2-2, and it's a team goal, this one all the way through. It started off from the back, and Chelsea seemed to have got their press right. They were forcing Norwich back into their own half, but then suddenly Norwich found a glimmer of hope. A little flick through the centre from Cantwell, and all of a sudden they had space as Pukki went through. This one might be checked by VAR. It was very tight on an offside as he raced into the area and put the shot across the keeper, Balaga. He got a hand to it, but not enough, and it spins into the far corner. As it stands, it's Norwich 2, Chelsea 2.
Well, we talked about Pulisic's passing, but Buendia's ball to Pukki was again an absolute gem, inch perfect, and I think he checked his run just right to keep him onside. Christensen's looking down that line and he's probably thinking, well, do you know what, between him and his centre-back partner, they probably should have stepped a bit sooner. They'd have played him off, wouldn't they? But I just don't think he stepped soon enough. In the end, the defence, not quite like a dog's hind leg, but they're not in line. So Zuma's gone, Christensen's left in the slot, playing him on. I mean, it's only by inches this, but it's enough for Pukki to get round the back. Courtesy of Buendia's great ball, courtesy of Cantwell's little drag heel in the middle of the park. That's super football by Norwich. You know, I wondered about Cantwell. I didn't, I've not seen too much of him, but he's really played his part today. You know, that heel allowed them a goal, and he scored one as well. He'd be feeling really good about himself, and quite rightly. And Norwich will too, because it's like, here we go again. We fought back in it. And we didn't get nobody handed us that goal. Great football got them that goal, and that's the kind of goal that will give you lots of confidence as well. You know, this is what we can do. And the game's a fantastic one.
Yeah, the fact that they're bouncing back quickly as well from these goals against. Okay, that one took a little bit longer, but the goal before half time, in that sense, the early response to the early goal as well from Norwich. You know, we saw resilience from them last season, didn't we? The number of times they scored late goals against teams in matches to win them, to gather those spare points that they needed to be champions of the championship. They showed that. They're showing it again. They've made massive changes to this side. They've kept, loyal to what the way that they've played and the way that they've wanted to play, and the personnel as well, and it's working so well for Norwich, as you say. Pukki timing that run to perfection, man in confidence. Only one thing he's going to do, he's not going to look for anything else. He's going to just put it in that space into the far corner and say to Balaga, okay, you deal with that, I'll get it on target, you try and stop me from scoring. And he couldn't do it. No criticism of the goalkeeper there, but that's what Pukki will do to you. It's what he's done last season, and for a late developer of a player as he is, we've seen him before and thought, no, he's not going to make it. He's going to be back in. Like one or two players from Scandinavia who've gone back to the Scandinavian leagues, been fine, done really well there, but then gone to the big five leagues, not quite made it. Pukki is showing that he potentially can this season all the way through.
Yeah, I'd written him off, so that's why he's only got a goal and an assist today. So I mean, if you look at his stats before he played for Norwich, you're thinking, who's he played for? What's his goal scoring ratio? You would not have bought him. Anyway, here's a chance. Buendia, an opportunity shot comes in. It's saved by the keeper. Pushed it back into open play. Hanley with a strike, and eventually he gets down. Aretha Balaga, and he's able to make a save on the left-hand side. Really clever free kick that, and by the way, Jorginho got booked for bringing down Buendia just a minute before, but we're so wrapped up waxing lyrical about the game itself. Forgot to mention that, but that was nearly another goal. And again, you're so right about Norwich. In the DNA of this team is a team who will duke it out with you. Last season, they were in a load of games like this where they'd end up winning 4-3 or what have you. They always seem to have the last say. It's more difficult though. It's the Premier League, and Chelsea have shown their quality today. Two good teams having at it. I knew Norwich would be decent this season. I think they'll be comfortable mid-table. I don't think they even get dragged in. And a lot of people would have raised an eyebrow. Frank Lampard taking over Chelsea. All right, well, yeah, just because he's a name, just because he played well for them. Well, they've lost Sarri, they've lost Eden Hazard. They're losing their way. They can't sign players. This, that, and the other. But you know what? He's a very smart man. He's Frank Lampard. And I think he knows what he's doing. I think what you'll see as well from Derby is I think it was a miracle that he got them into the playoffs last season, let alone anything else. But you see a big drop off for Derby because they just don't have the resource. So I don't know how he did that last season. Anyway, I think he's pretty good. But I think both the managers are good. And here an opportunity. Ross Barkley's had a quiet game so far. Little Cruyff turn there buys him some time. He's held up, and eventually Tom Tribal can't land a glove on him. Chelsea working through the middle with Kovacic, and he finds Azpilicueta, good out ball. Percentage ball into the box, decent ball. Skims off the head of Pulisic, not gone anywhere. As the number 14, Todd Cantwell, is able to clear his lines. Cantwell's played a big part today. But everybody's on it. I'm not seeing a bad performance from anybody here. Everybody's on their game, and it's a good game of football.
And as you say, with this Chelsea side, this is a top six side in terms of quality, even though they've had to bring in one or two young players. It's about time to some extent for Chelsea that they've had to do that, and for Lampard to come in gives him a pretty similar situation, as you say, to what he had at Derby, where he got a couple of two or three young players who he absolutely brought the breast out of. They blossomed underneath him. Mason Mount is still one of those who is here now. There are others to come through potentially for Chelsea as the season goes on as well, and they have a bedrock of a decent side. Rudiger not too far away. Hudson-Odoi still to come back as well. Fingers crossed he's back to full fitness very shortly. So there are more pieces of the jigsaw for Frank Lampard here. I don't think from a Chelsea point of view there's anything to worry about. It will just take a little time, and it may well be, you'd look at this like we said with Sarri last season. We thought it would take him a little time to get settled and start. It didn't. They started off really well and then faded away. I suspect it's a kind of mirror image kind of season for Chelsea myself as to how they will go. They're not getting, other than the game against Manchester United when they were poor for a half. I've been okay with what I've seen so far from Chelsea. It's not perfect, but it's a work in progress.
It is. I think they're good, and I think the other thing that his legend states will buy him some time. And I think they need that. If they're not able just to throw money at it, then they need to develop it, and who better than a very smart man, Frank Lampard, to do that. So I think it looks good for Chelsea. You mentioned Hudson-Odoi. From the moment I heard that he was good, he tailed off, and then because they couldn't buy anybody. As the ball comes across a poor cross from the right hand side, you just know that then he's going to get a bigger, fatter contact than probably he deserved, and his head will swell, and you just think, well, you haven't done anything, mate. I worry about him, I really do.
But I think that's the one where you want Frank Lampard or somebody like that to get a grip on him and say, right, this is what I need from you, this is the situation that you'll find yourself in, and this is how I want you to play. And if you don't do it, you won't play, because there are plenty of other young players who are around, and I think Lampard will be strong enough to be able to do that and have that situation with him. So the ball is in Hudson-Odoi's court, isn't it, to, as you say, show that promise that he hasn't necessarily developed into yet.
The good news is for Lampard now is that someone like Hudson-Odoi will have to displace a Mount or a Pulisic to get in the team, and you think, well,
would you really? Yeah.
And if you can do that, then fair play to you. And so he's going to have to show something when he gets his opportunities in maybe cup competitions, this, that, the other. Going to be a hard road for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Anyway, Kovacic now scampering forward, a good ball, and Barkley takes it in his stride. He cuts, and then he gets a shot deflected, breaks into the box. Pulisic can't bring it in, swirling ball this time, and that ball goes out. I thought it was strange when they bought Ross Barkley. I I still don't think he necessarily really fits in to this Chelsea team. Again, it took him an age to sort his feet out, and his shot was very comfortably blocked away.
He's a squad player for me in that sense. And you know, that's where he should have been today, wasn't he? He was on the bench. He wasn't in the starting 11. That's where you'd expect him to be. Somebody who can come on and do a little job for you for 25 minutes towards the end of a game, as you say, helps out during the season for cup competitions, etc. But isn't a leading player in this side unless again, you know, is he another one that can develop under Frank Lampard? Well, we shall see. But at the moment, it's much of a muchness from Barkley. As you say, I'm not his biggest fan, but as a squad player and somebody who'd have around who you can trust in that sense, you know, he's a decent acquisition for Chelsea, but nothing more.
Just saw Ben Godfrey, who's having a real good game. I know they conceded 2, but he's having a terrific game. He put a couple of blocks in there. They're trying to be fancy down that left and made a bit of a mess of it, but he's done well.
Well, it remains Norwich 2, Chelsea 2. A couple of opportunities starting to come for either side, but nothing particularly too clear-cut. The best of them for Norwich. A free kick after Jorginho was booked for a foul on Buendia. Buendia, it was himself who took a short free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area, rattled in a shot. Aritha Balaga, for some reason, punching the ball back into open play in front of him, and it almost dropped to Grant Hadley. He was probably offside looking at the replays anyway, but it gave Norwich another opportunity that they shouldn't really have had. From a Chelsea point of view, nothing around the penalty area, plenty of possession, but haven't really turned it into anything clear-cut, so it's still 2-2.
Well, most goals, first 3 appearances in the Premier League, and Teemu Pukki, along with Pavel Pogrebniak, remember him?
There's a name you wouldn't have had in that list on the top of your head, would you?
No, certainly you wouldn't. You know, I think he scored 5 goals, and then that's all he did.
That's it, yes.
He might not have scored anymore. I think signs for Pukki look good for the season then, and you'd expect him to be, the way he started, 20-25 goal, and do again what he did last year. And listen, they're no one-trick pony, or... You know, he will be aided and abetted. I'm sure that Hernandez, when he gets back in, Stiepermann, when he gets his radar going, you know, we've already seen a goal for Todd Cantwell today, so he'll be aided and abetted, and Buendia is going to score a few. So, you know, they can share the goals around. Here's Pulisic. They can't give him too much time on the ball, but in the end, he steps away from the challenge of Jamal Lewis, who's drifted inside. Kovacic now finds a good ball for Barkley. He goes scampering, finds a good ball, little flick. Pulisic first touch, lets him down this time, and then Tribal, in fact no light, they can get the ball away. Cantwell lays it back, and Aaron's forced just to blam that ball out into the stand. Been a really exciting half of football. I think the heat maybe just catching up to both the two teams, put a lot of effort in, and visibly it's just gone a little bit slower now. Probably because, what you say, 28 degrees, something like that,
yes.
Side.
It's difficult, isn't it, in terms of that, to keep that intensity up. There's still the sort of glimmers of opportunities, though, isn't there? Little pockets of space being found by both sides around the edge of the penalty area and in midfield that suggests that this game is still pretty open. A fair bit of work, I think, for Farke and Lampard to do at half-time, just to try and reset a couple of things in terms of particularly their midfield, I think, just to try and clamp down on the game. It's not really the way either of them want to do it in that sense. They want to be open and expansive and they want to get forward, but I think both will just have 1 or 2 midfield defensive concerns that they just want to have a look at and maybe tweak a couple of things that might help. And as you say, as the game slows down in the second half, you would expect then that will come more and more into play, where, you know, 1 goal might just be enough to sneak a victory here.
Stiepermann looks like he's going to get a yellow card here, sliding in under Jorginho. I didn't really feel that one, but Martin Atkinson doesn't throw the cards around willy-nilly. We'll take another look. I mean, he goes through his ankle, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he does get the ball, but it's gone through the back of him. You know, his coach is saying, what was that for? But I think Atkinson deemed it. He was straight through him, and although Daniel Farke looks bemused, yeah, you could understand why he gave that, and from the angle that he was looking. Martin Atkinson, giving 2 cards away, Jorginho and Stiepermann. Stiepermann, I think, is having a difficult game today, not giving the ball away a couple of times. I don't know what what's in his head, whether he's feeling comfortable at the level. Great ball forward. Here's an opportunity as Pulisic takes the ball. What a turn in the box. And then a block from Jamal Lewis, who's come across from his left-hand side to block Pulisic. Ball breaks to Kovacic, edge of the area. Can he get a shot away? Well, it's a great last-ditch challenge. He finds an out ball. Oh, and Azpilicueta gets around the back, forces the ball into the near post. Saved by Tim Krul. He's pushed that one out, and it should be a corner.
I mean, just looking who it came off last, Tim Krul was claiming it came off the Chelsea man, but what, as you say, Pulisic, the one before, beautiful first touch to bring it back inside, and then a turn inside, but unfortunately just too many bodies in front of him in the end. Fabulous play again by him. You look at it here, the run through, came across the defender, took it down first time, then turned two defenders. Fortunately, Lewis it was quick enough to get back, but then again, lovely weighted ball to Azpilicueta from Kovacic. Corner comes in.
But it's headed away near post, and then Cantwell, and then poor challenge, and now the counter-attack is on. Look at Pukki, and he's driving forward. Here's an opportunity. Keeper comes out though, and Kepa does really well. Super ball as well from that left-hand side, and Kepa read that one like a book. But Norwich now breaking down the right, an opportunity for them. Aarons has had scant chance to overlap. The ball to him not quite good enough. It will be a throw for Norwich. Chelsea just asleep there on that side. Just momentarily, as Mason Mount not really doing his job. Aaron straightens up, has a run at him. When Deer picks it up, wanted to be at the forefront of everything, tried to run through, couldn't make it. Emerson was wise to that, and then Barkley picks it up, buys a bit of time with a step inside, and now the break is on right hand side. Azpilicueta, we've got plenty of time on it. Pulisic shows for the ball, gives it back to Barkley, and he sweeps the ball across the field. We're into 2 minutes of added time. We've already had half a minute of that. This game's been great, but strong challenge middle of the park, but this time the referee has deemed that Tribal was too strong, and that was a foul. He's a little bit unlucky there, because I just think Kovacic is dwelling on that ball, flicks it on the inside of him, gets a little bit lucky there.
Yeah, he played up to it, didn't he, in that sense, but Tribal was in the wrong position really in the end. He went flying in a little bit too quickly, and therefore it gave Kovacic a chance to take the whack, as it were, and head to the floor, because you say he was under pressure. And Norwich, just in the last couple of minutes, just starting to get a little bit frantic. As you say, you just kind of get the feelings a little bit of that tiredness coming in now into this Norwich side.
This time Abraham trying to hold off Godfrey. Godfrey gets there again. In fact, it's Hanley in behind him who does all the work. Ball breaks to Pulisic in the box. He's got that ball on a string. Emerson now with the cross coming in to Pulisic again. Lays it back. Shot comes in. Blazed over the top by Barkley. Brilliant play by Pulisic. Honest to goodness, what a player he is. And again, he takes that ball in tight circumstances, and just his control is brilliant. Then he lays the perfect ball back. And Barkley doesn't keep his shot down. Good work by Abraham as well, under massive pressure. Hanley battling with him. And in the end, on another day, maybe a ref might have given a penalty kick for the challenge in there. Yeah,
I'm just watching a replay as well. I thought it was Jorginho putting his arm across as Norwich started to come in, and he's lucky the Norwich man doesn't go down there, because he's then gone, because he's already got the yellow card earlier on in the half. Really stupid challenge from Jorginho in a fairly meaningless kind of position that Norwich were in at that stage. And as I say, the Norwich man goes down, I think Jorginho walks there.
Yeah, got to be careful. I must admit, I didn't see that, but when you're on the card, you've got to keep yourself to yourself a little bit more, don't you? Anyway, that's the last action of a brilliant first half at Carrow Road. It's 2 apiece.
A fabulous 4-goal first half, then sees it 2-2 at the break. The first from Chelsea on 3 minutes. Pulisic finding Azpilicueta. His cross found Abraham, who lashed the ball home from inside the box. But 3 minutes later, Norwich back on level terms. Pukki with space in the area, played the ball into the near post. There was Cantwell to force it home. Chelsea back in front. Good work by Pulisic, found Mount, and a lovely finish from him into the far corner. But then Norwich with Cantwell finding plenty onto Pukki. Only one there.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit.
It's murder. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
I killed it. I killed it. I killed it.
I killed it, it's murder.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder.
Go crazy, berserker.
It's Norwich 2, Chelsea 2 is our score of the break. No changes from what we can see so far. And it's myself, Steve Pearson, and John Hogan bringing you this independent off-tube studio commentary, the first Premier League action of the afternoon. Plenty more to come right up to Liverpool-Arsenal. And here come Chelsea straight away on the attack. Mason Mount in space, tries a shot from the edge of the box, rather scuffs it, and it bobbles away past the right-hand upright. But a bright early start from Chelsea in the bright sunshine. And John, I think we expect this game to settle itself down because of the heat, etc. But a very open start again.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the way that both teams support attacks. It's almost like they want to empty out midfield and get bodies forward. You know what that does? It just makes it, a game that flows end to end. We just saw that Tom Tribal, was beaten by Ross Barkley, and Tribal needs to get involved a little bit more. He's there and needs not to get bullied, and there he's beaten by Tammy Abraham again. So Tribal is a stopper, defensive wrecking ball, and he needs to do just that. Equally he needs Leitner a little bit closer to him to shore up that back four. But here an opportunity for Chelsea.
Well, plenty of space as well as Pulisic comes through. He smashes in a shot and it rattles into the side netting, and he looks away. He sort of scuffs his hair and is frustrated with himself because he got in space as the defence had gone walkabout, got himself in a tight angle, and in the end he doesn't make Krul make a save. That's really a poor finish. His first real mistake of the afternoon.
Yeah, I think that he made his mind up early. Right, okay, I've controlled the ball beautifully, which he did, and he presses it forward, and I think he realises he's at an angle there where he's probably best off trying to stuff it in at the near post. The problem for him is that Tim Krul has come across and really covered that post pretty well. He's given him no option then, and then he just thinks, I'll go for power. The moment he's done that, although he's hit it hard, he's hit it into the side netting. Tammy Abraham was in the middle. And for once Pulisic there has done the wrong thing, but that's not something he's going to do too often.
Yeah, if you weren't expecting goals, you're looking in the wrong place. So started half time. Since the start of last season, Norwich League matches have seen 163 goals scored, 99 of them now for Norwich. So Carrow Road and wherever Norwich are heading is the place to look for. We did get an update as well on Pedro's injury. Apparently it's a hamstring injury that he picked up in the warm-up, and that's why Ross Barkley, who's now on the ball, perfect timing, is on the field from the start. Still waiting for the first proper substitution, as it were, of the day, as Chelsea come forward again down the right-hand side. Ball into the box. Mount wanted it leaving. Abraham took it himself, though, on that occasion, and got beaten by the Norwich defence. The ball played forward. Zuma just brushes Pookie aside, who looks up at the referee, says no, nothing coming. Kovacic races in the opposite direction. His pass is blocked, but it comes back to Kovacic on the right-hand side. Space to cross, pulls it back, looks for Mount on the edge of the box, but Stiepermann had read it. Poor clearance. Jorginho with a shot. Is that blocked? Yes, it is. And behind for a corner.
Chelsea come out like a house on fire. They're really dominating, forcing the pace. Some brilliant play. Kovacic scampering in the middle. Aspilicueta always keen to overlap on that right-hand side. They've definitely got a lot of attack about them. It's their fifth corner. Norwich have had none at the minute, but real opportunity for Chelsea.
A corner kick from Mount in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. There's a Chelsea head on it at the near post. Aspilicueta it was, who went across the front of the defence from the far post. We'll see him running in now. Yeah, there he is, just from the... We didn't come that far across, actually. I thought he'd come further into that near post area. He got over there, tried to flick it on towards the far post, got a little bit too much on it in the end, and the ball is over the top and behind for a goal kick, but can't be leaving players at the near post getting that much space.
No, I think Godfrey had a really good first half, but there, was he asleep? There was a lot of bodies to defend, and maybe Chelsea's slightly bigger team, so they got their work cut out. I don't know if there's zonal marking either, but either which way, Aspilicueta got nicked in front of his man, and had he been able to keep that headed down, he might have grabbed the goal.
Yeah, Norwich, though, finally have a bit of possession inside the Chelsea half for the first time in this second period. Ball forward up towards Stiepermann. I think he thought Pookie was behind him. Pookie knows there was an opportunity there had he made the run towards the edge of the penalty area. On this occasion it didn't happen. The two of them just out of sync for once, but it's not been a regular thing. The ball is picked up on the edge of the penalty area by Chelsea. Worked up towards Emerson on the left-hand side inside the Norwich half. Norwich have reset themselves, so Chelsea will go backwards. And, the ball is eventually at the feet of Jorginho, who looks forward again, plays an angled ball, great one to Mason Mount, corner the penalty area, on towards Barkley, down to the byline, he stops, looks for an opportunity, tries to pull it back, too many yellow shirts in front of him, he threads a pass though to Kovacic, but his shot is charged down again by Godfrey, who seems to be everywhere for this Norwich defence, and the Canaries will clear downfield, tidied up by Christensen, out of play for a throw-in.
I think you know that I'm going to criticise Ross Barkley now.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Is he becoming a new David Luiz? Is that what it is? In my sense?
I really like David Luiz.
No, I don't. I know. That's what I'm saying. That was my pet hate for Chelsea.
Well, I just think they're right. When the ball comes across, I want him to work and do what he's doing. I don't want his touch to be extravagant and his second touch that's unnecessary. That he wasted there the nanosecond that he might have needed to find his teammate, right? And then he lays a semi-good ball across, but it's one that's blocked away. And to the naked eye, you think, oh, yeah, that wasn't bad from him. And I just think, no, it's rubbish. He needs to use that ball. Here's Buendia, an opportunity for Norwich, looking for a give and go with Cantwell. He's wriggling in the boxes. He brought down there by Emerson. No, according to our referee, maybe VAR will be taking a look at that for Martin Atkinson. There's another play down in back play for Norwich. Don't quite know what's happened, but there is a player now holding his leg, though, I think.
I think it's Stiepermann who went down. He seems to be holding his hand as though, I'm not sure he's been trod on, looking at the back of his hand. I think he may have been stamped on there, probably not deliberately. Yeah, Kurt Zuma slid across, and it was his kind of trailing leg that ended up under the hand of Zuma somehow. But, nasty one for the player.
Just raked across, didn't it?
He's got a whack, yes. Yeah.
He's unlucky there just to come in together, but undoubtedly that hurt. Then the next thing, in the box, you know, there seemed to be a bit of a coming together. Emerson looked like he was on the wrong side of Cantwell, but they must have looked at it and deemed that it wasn't anything worth worrying about too much. And Martin Atkinson was in a good position to do nothing, which is what he did, because he must have thought that the challenges were fine. They're warming up a sub now at Norwich City, but there's real cut and thrust about it. I think Chelsea do look like the team more like to score next, but you don't know, because Norwich have still got coherent goal forward.
Stiepermann looks like he's okay, obviously in a bit of pain from that. Took a real whack, it looks like, on the around the wrist and thumb area. And he will be able to carry on. Just unfortunate injury for him there, as Chelsea get the ball back from the throw-in from Norwich, having put the ball out of play so that Stiepermann could get a bit of treatment on the halfway line. So Norwich are back to their full complement. Zuma takes 5 touches when one would do just for a moment there, but Norwich don't press him too high. They're leaving Pukki just 5 or 10 yards inside the Chelsea half. Everybody else is back inside Norwich's half of the field as Chelsea try and break away down the right hand side, and they do as Azpilicueta puts on the burners. And then is he brought down? Well, he certainly thinks so. The referee and assistant who were both on that side say no, ball taken, and therefore Norwich able to clear down the left hand side, but the pass towards Stiepermann is overhit on this occasion, and Chelsea will tidy up.
Yeah, a really good challenge that from Cantwell, wasn't it? When Azpilicueta was bombing forward, he took the ball pretty cleanly for my money. And the Chelsea skipper didn't complain too much, but it remains a really interesting game. Already signs just 1 or 2 maybe flagging out there have put a lot of energy into the game, but here comes Chelsea again.
Yeah, Ross Barkley in the central position, under pressure from Norwich players in front of him. He finally finds a little bit of space away from Cantwell. Ball forward towards the edge of the box. Nice flick by Abraham. On this occasion, Pulisic just couldn't quite take it in, though. And Jamal Lewis able to tidy up. And Godfrey will eventually clear downfield. That's a poor ball, though, into a space where there was no yellow and green shirt. So Chelsea will have it again with Jorginho. Looking down that right-hand side where a lot of the pressure seems to be coming now from Chelsea. Up towards Pulisic again. And they've decided that Pulisic has got the beating of Jamal Lewis. But Lewis keeps getting the challenges in just for the moment at least. And he's stopping them from finding space just inside the penalty area. At least for the moment. Well, we're still all square between Norwich and Chelsea, but it's certainly Chelsea who've had the better of the first early stages of the second period, and they've had the only opportunities that have come so far, really. Mason Mount with a shot just outside the penalty area that he dragged wide, and then Pulisic with a great opportunity. He had a fabulous game, Christian Pulisic. He got behind the defence, was pushed a little wide and narrow on the right-hand side, and his shot eventually rattling into the side netting. And then we also saw a corner from the left for Chelsea from Mason Mount that Azpilicueta Aspilicueta got his head to, but couldn't keep it down. It went well over. Norwich are huffing and puffing, but nothing from an attacking point of view, so it remains 2-2.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a second ago we saw Godfrey clearing up the field to nobody in particular. The one difference out of the Championship, you can't really give the ball away like that and expect that you're not going to get swamped. Your outball's got to be a good one. You've got to compete for it at the very least. You can't just give the ball away because teams like Chelsea will be all over you. I don't know what the stats are for this second half. In fact, I do now because they're just showing them up. So 55% possession for Chelsea in this half. They have been the dominant force. In the last 5 minutes, Norwich has struggled to get there. Leitner and Tribal really need to put the clamp on in the middle of the park. They're unable to do so, and here comes Chelsea again. Emerson puts the ball in, headed away by Hanley, not cleared though, and now an opportunity, and the lines are cleared. But again, it's anywhere will do sort of ball, and you're going to find that wave after wave of attack keeps coming after you if you don't have a good out ball.
Got to find a way to settle this down here, Norwich, in the second half, as they have to defend again. Christiansen coming well forward down the right hand channel, plays a ball out wide. Aspilicueta into the box. Barkley will get his head to it, can't really angle it back across as he was falling backwards as he did so. And Norwich should be able to clear. It'll take a little bit of time doing it. Passes rather overhit down the right hand side, but Aarons manages to get in there. And Aarons not really been a factor in this game going forward, as he's had to sit in, and therefore from a fullback's point of view there's not necessarily been the width from Norwich that they might have had in other games.
He needs to get forward. He and Jamal Lewis are both fleet of foot, but they've been forced to defend in this game. As Barkley mazy dribble just at the edge of the box, and he's dragging them all in. Chance for a shot, that's blocked away though, and that's Jamal Lewis with a block from Aspilicueta. Great run by Ross Barkley this time with the ball at his feet, and here's Kovacic now, and Chelsea are all over Norwich.
Yeah, little ball again, just through a couple of defenders looking for Aspilicueta, and he's unfortunate on this occasion. The defence clamped in around him and knocked the ball away as it came back off Aspilicueta. It will go behind for a goal kick. We see a replay again of Ross Barkley, fleet of foot across the edge of the penalty area. There must have been 5 or 6 Norwich players that came to meet him. He couldn't get the space for the shot in the end, but did find Aspilicueta. But again, as you said, Norwich losing the ball cheaply, therefore getting pushed back into their own penalty area and giving that opportunity to Barkley.
Yeah, they need to find an out ball. This is something that they wouldn't have had to worry about too much in the Championship. They just reset their sights, win the ball back with Tribal, Leitner in the middle, go again. But this is the Premier League, baby, and everybody's better, aren't they? They keep the ball, they don't lose the ball as much. You find yourself under pressure if you can't find your man. I mean, it gets to the point where you think maybe the outball should be right. Pookie goes right, at the halfway line. The outball is always a clearance out to that wing. Something like that gives them half a chance to compete. Clearing it down the field is doing nothing for them. And here come Chelsea again.
Yeah, no way to relieve the pressure at the moment for Norwich as Chelsea have possession. Zuma has it just inside the Norwich half. He'll change the angle of attack over to the right hand side for Jorginho. This time Norwich are back in numbers, so there's no obvious ball through for Chelsea just for the moment, but they will take their time here as Zuma comes forward again. Little ball onto the left hand side for Mason Mount. He'll look for the 1-2. Well, he deflects away off a Norwich man back into the path of Pulisic inside the box. He's forced wide though, does find Emerson, doesn't put the cross in, plays it instead short to Mount. He will try and get a cross come shot in, but that's blocked on the edge of the box. But Chelsea still in possession, and they've forced more players forward now, just leaving Christiansen and Zuma sat in because Pookie is inside his own half and not really causing too much of a threat at the moment. Here goes Pulisic again down the left hand side. Challenge from Aaron, spins away. I think it's just gone out for a throw in. Yes, I think it has, although Mason Mount's heading across. That suggests a corner, and it has. It did just spin out on that side of the flag for the corner kick, and Mount will have it again. And waiting for players to get themselves set inside the penalties. We tick up to the hour mark. Norwich 2, Chelsea 2. Mount again with another corner. The in-swinger, this one high towards the far post. Krul gets there with a strong punch out of the penalty area, and he gets a bit of luck as he goes past Pulisic, only to Kovacic. Plays a beautiful long ball out to Mason Mount on the left-hand side. Takes it down, finds Barkley. Edge of the penalty area, back out wide again for Emerson to get a ball into the box, which he does. Flicks off for defensive head. Is it cleared? Well, Chelsea are screaming penalty half-heartedly as Norwich race away in the opposite direction with Timo Pukki, who's outfoxed by Kovacic, who's slid in and then eventually made a challenge. Not the first time, but the second time. Pulisic has it now on the edge of the box, surrounded by yellow shirts. Still manages to find Mount. On again for Emerson, who has the chance for a shot, but he rattles it straight at Tim Krul, who does well to hold on.
Again, terrific work by Chelsea. They worked that overlap brilliantly, didn't they? And again, Pulisic in a tight space drags straight to him, and you think, oh, he's clamped, and then he just turns that ball away right across the face. That allows the overlap, and Emerson just goes for blood, doesn't he, rather than any kind of finesse. Just absolutely whacks the bejesus out of that and smash it straight into. I thought for 1 minute it'd gone through Krul, and then he comes up with the ball. So fair play to him. But Chelsea creeping closer to this third goal for them.
Yeah, it almost looked like a cartoon goal that for a moment, where a hole opens up in the player and goes through as Norwich try and get away down the left-hand side. Challenge comes in though on this occasion.
Jamal Lewis breaking,
Lewis.
yeah.
Finally, we said about him trying to get forward. First time we've seen him up there. He's lost possession of the ball now, though. As Kovacic has it, though, can't get a quick outlet to exploit the space that Lewis has left down that left-hand side, and eventually Chelsea just cleared out for a throw-in to Norwich. But again, it gave them better options, as you say there. Pukki, left-hand side, found space, picked up possession of the ball, off went Norwich. He'd actually got 3 players inside him, had Kovacic not outfoxed him on the edge of on the halfway line, I should say.
Yeah, they're winning their individual battles, though, aren't they, Chelsea? Kovacic has been as impressive as I've seen him for Chelsea, and of course there's no N'Golo Kante in this team as well. It can only get better for them. We're looking at Stiepermann, a challenge in the box there with Azpilicueta. I don't think there's anything too wrong about that, although he was taking a risk challenging from the wrong side, wasn't he? But yeah, they need to muscle up a little bit, Norwich, and you know, win their fair share. 50-50 is getting knocked off the ball a little bit. You know, Godfrey certainly manned up today, I would have said, but one or two others. I did really disappoint Tom Tribal today.
Yeah, hasn't really been able to get into the game, as Stiepermann as well as struggled, as you said, at times in the match, and Jamal Lewis and Aarons have been clamped on and therefore not able to play the game that they perhaps would like to in this game. But credit to Chelsea and Frank Lampard. His side is working very, very hard, particularly in this second half, and has certainly had the edge since the break. And with 1 or 2 aces up his sleeve potentially, particularly from an attacking point of view from Chelsea. Wouldn't be surprised to see a change. Alonso alongside Willian, Giroud, Batshuayi and Tomori is the rest of the bench left now to Frank Lampard. He had to make the change with Pedro being replaced after the warm-up by Ross Barkley, which limited his options on the bench a little. For Norwich, it's Sam Byron, Vrancic, Klose, Ralph Thurman, the goalkeeper, of course, McLean, Teti, and Sremi, the last ones on the bench for the Canaries.
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, I'll be looking maybe to replace Tammy Abraham, who's gone a little bit quiet, and you've got Giroud, who's just a monster, isn't he? And so good off the bench as well. For me, he, you know, if he's fit, he's starting. You know, but anyway, a great player to bring off the bench too. He never seems to sulk that much that he doesn't come on and give his all. So yeah, good sub to have. As 1 or 2 players getting a little bit naughty in the middle of the park there, and Martin Atkinson just closing things down there. Buendia wanted to take it quickly, and he's saying stop. I've got the whistle. Wait for me.
He still wants a word. We're still looking again at this challenge by Stiepermann on Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta clear that he felt there was contact as the player swung round Stiepermann. He didn't know that Azpilicueta was there, I don't think, and was starting to go for the ball.
I think Azpilicueta is an air shot. He misreads it, and Stiepermann as well probably misreads the flight of the ball. There may be a tiny bit of contact, but he doesn't stop Azpilicueta from his shot. He stopped himself because he didn't read it. I don't think that it's there for him, and I certainly don't think it's a penalty, but they did look at that. So you know, and it's definitely not a penalty that Martin Atkinson would have given. You know, there's hardly any contact.
No, there's very little in that sense, and referee gives his opinion, as we now know, to VAR of what he's seen, and then VAR has a look at it to see if they can spot anything that's obviously different in that scenario, and if it's not, they play on, as we saw with the Manchester City one last week. The ball over to the far post by Norwich. Aarons puts it back across into a dangerous area, but there's nobody there in a yellow shirt, and Kovacic is able to tidy up and play it out wide to Barkley, who's waiting for a challenge to come in because he's no outlet really to play it to anybody else. Eventually loses possession of the ball, and Norwich win a throw in, level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, right hand side. Neil Farquhar on the bench as always. Pensive, always looks like there's something wrong, does Daniel Farker. Well, there's certainly something wrong now with a shocking throw-in by Norwich that just bounces harmlessly out of play for a goal kick. And there's been one or two of those in this second half. A couple of players just losing a bit of the old mental agility as this second half goes on in the heat.
Norwich have been less impressive this second half. They played some good football first. They seem to have lost their conviction a little bit. It is important that Jamal Lewis and Aarons fly up those flanks and overlap. We have seen precious little of that. And then Aarons plays a percentage ball across the middle, and you say, it's an exciting looking ball, but it's to nobody. You've got to learn that you've got to put a shirt on it as well in the Premier League. You can't play percentage ball. It's not going to work out for you. But here come Chelsea.
And they have possession again with Barkley. Will try a shot, just trying to catch Tim Krul out, I should say. He was looking at the option for Pulisic down the right hand side, who was making a run. That seemed to be the obvious ball, and perhaps Barkley just seeing that, noticing there was a gap to get a shot in, thought, I'll just see if Tim Krul's awake. And Krul certainly was. Makes a good save at the opposite end of the field. Lovely touch from Christiansen to take the ball down away from Stiepermann and just roll the ball back to Arrizabalaga inside the penalty area, and that allows Chelsea to reset and start again. Still Norwich 2, Chelsea 2. Then all the goals in the first half. Abraham, then Cantwell, then Mount, and then Pukki, inevitably for Norwich. And he becomes only the 10th Premier League player to score in his first 3 Premier League games. Don't ask me who the other 9 are, I have no idea. As the ball is played onto the left-hand side for Emerson. If it was 1 or 2, I might be able to think it through. But 9, no time for that today. As Zuma plays it square this time inside the centre circle. It's worked out onto the right-hand side for Azpilicueta, but Norwich have everybody behind the ball, including Teemu Pukki, inside his own half of the field. So Zuma will try and play it out wide for Emerson, who takes it down beautifully. Then he was looking for the run of Mount, but Mount had just checked back a moment or two, thinking there were 2 Norwich defenders in front of him, therefore there wasn't a gap really for him to run into. I think Tim Krul, realising that his side are under a little bit of pressure, just wanders across the penalty area with the ball at his feet and waits until Tammy Abraham finally comes forward before he'll do anything with it. Just trying to give his side a little bit of a breather, the Norwich keeper, but then he smashes the ball downfield straight back to Arrizabalaga. So that's not the way to keep a breather.
No, I mean, when they look at the video of the second half, they'll work out that they just keep handing the ball back to these white-shirted Chelsea players, and that, they need to keep hold of that ball a little bit more. It's a precious resource, particularly on a hot day. You don't want to be chasing the game. Every time they win the ball, they need to do a little bit more. But here's Buendia. Here's an opportunity for them.
In towards Pukki inside the penalty area. He will inevitably try the shot, of course. This time he doesn't quite bend it across towards the far post, and Arrizabalaга's positioning is excellent. He just clutches the ball above his head. The Chelsea keeper, and away go Chelsea at the other end. Good ball in towards Abraham. He's got the defence on the turn. Shot comes in. Fabulous finish from Tammy Abraham from the edge of the box. Took the shot early. Caught Tim Krul out. 3-2 Chelsea.
Well, I was going to take him off and bring Giroud on. I take it all back. That was a brilliant goal. Just after we saw Pukki get a shot on target and the ball goes down the other end, Norwich has supported attacks. Again, they're emptied out. But, that it's just a classic goal from a striker here. He drifts, he spins into a space, he checks his run. Is he offside when that ball is played? Is he offside? I mean, I think they've given him maybe it's the benefit of the doubt. He's level with Hanley. But he makes a good cut, and then he gets ferocity into the strike. We saw a neat first touch for his first goal. This one is a lovely strike, cuts and strikes, and doesn't give Krul any kind of chance.
We have a breakthrough in the second half, and it's come from Chelsea, and it's come from Tammy Abraham, his second of the game, and it was a fabulous finish as well. We'd just seen Teemu Pukki have a shot at one end to comfortably saved by Arrizabalaga. Chelsea breaking away very quickly, starting off with the keeper. The ball through to Kovacic. He found Abraham outside the penalty area, 2 defenders in front of him. He took it across into the D on the edge of the box, and then found a way to smash a shot through a pair of legs and past Tim Krul into the Norwich goal. It's what Chelsea have deserved. They've been better in this second half, and they lead now by 3-2.
I wondered if that lone spell at Villa had just sort of, got. I mean, it certainly got confidence up, and then the confidence in the team to play him, saying, right, he could be a 30-goal a season striker. He's in there ahead of Giroud, and I would never have that. But he can prove his manager right. I keep crediting Frank Lampard with great intelligence, so you'd have to give him credit. Tammy Abraham is his man. He's decided he wants him. Same with Kurt Zuma. You know, what can these guys do? Well, they can keep on succeeding, can't they? 2 goals for Tammy Abraham, and you know that was the beauty. You want your striker to play like that. I don't want him to mess about. I want him to control the ball, cut and strike. It's like a Jermaine Defoe goal, that. No messing about. I know what I need to do. I know where the goal is, and I'm going to hit the ball hard. And if you can do that, and if you can do it 2-footed and roll either way and get his shot away, you know, then he's going to be brilliant this season.
Here come Norwich then, looking for the quick response again down their left-hand side. They have players over if they can find them. Run all the way into the box eventually as Timo Pukki wanted the ball down the left-hand side. Didn't get it from Leitner on this occasion, and the momentum has been lost, but Norwich still have possession, although Cantwell's slipping and sliding, doing the Bambi on ice trick at the moment, but he's somehow managed to get possession of the ball and gets it all the way back to the halfway line. So Norwich have lost their way in terms of an opportunity, but at least they still have possession. We're up to 20 minutes to go. We've overrun a little on this section of the game. John will take you through to that final whistle.
Yeah, they just lost their way, but here they come fighting back. Godfrey, look at this run, right into the box he goes. An opportunity for him, and eventually he runs out of talent there and into Christensen. But they're giving it a go, aren't they? A heroic team from last season. You know, a terrific fan base. And here Godfrey puts the afterburners on. That's really impressive. And in the end, he's won his team a corner kick. Godfrey's been good today, I think. You know, despite the fact you say, well, his team's conceded 3. I think he's shown a lot of daring do. Ball into the box. There's a header from Godfrey onto the crossbar. And Kepa was beaten. Wow. Well, you won't get much closer than that. We singled him out, and then he shows his aerial prowess. Christensen's on the deck at the moment. But let's take a look at that. I mean, he beats him in the air, doesn't he? Yeah,
fabulous header, isn't he? Gets up, gets there. I don't see what the injury is at all, quite frankly. I think Christensen's got an embarrassment injury at the moment because he's been beaten in the air quite easily. He does land a little heavily, but Godfrey's unlucky, as you say. Ritha Balaga might as well sit in the stand behind him because he's a spectator as he watches that one come back off the crossbar. And from Godfrey's point of view, as you say, that would have been the little bit of cherry on top of the cake for what's been an excellent game for him. As you said, even though his side's conceded, for me he has been outstanding. Man of the match along with Buendia from the first half from Norwich, from their side of things anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. You always think that name Godfrey and it conjures up an image of a frail old man, doesn't it, from Dad's Army, but he ain't played like that. You know, his sister Dolly's allowed him out to play today, and he's having a good game.
Hashtag one for the teenagers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anyway, Godfrey now with a raking long ball. Can he pass? Not really. No, he can't. He can't do everything.
He goes back to normal, as it were. But he's doing the right thing in that sense. Norwich have tried to plough through the centre at various points, and it's just not working at the minute. Whereas getting that ball out wide, trying to move this Chelsea team around is the way to do it. As we see the VAR replay of Abraham's goal, he's about 3 inches onside there.
Yeah, it's the knee of Godfrey Hanley that's playing him on. Cantwell in the middle of the park. He's gone a little bit quiet. He's surrounded. Find Leitner. The ball goes out to left hand side, or at least he's trying to. Cantwell. He rolls 1 or 2 challenges. I thought he jumped up in the air a little bit there. He's lucky that he's won a free kick. But in the end, they're just enough interference and battling away. And well, he definitely won that. He flicked a leg out of Pulisic, who couldn't believe that was given. So, yeah, I think he's dead lucky. Well, Giroud looks like he's going to come on now, but I don't know quite who that would be. Tammy Abrams on a hat-trick. You wouldn't want to take him off now, would you? Do you think he's going 2 up top? I doubt it.
No, it'll be Abraham that comes off as the free kick comes in, easily cleared away by Chelsea. It'll be a straightforward swap. Abraham, it's a case of job done at some point, isn't it? And you need somebody then who will hold the ball up and can give you a bit extra defensively as well, perhaps from Norwich from set pieces when they come forward in that sense. A little bit of insurance, a little bit of experience. And we said about Abraham, fabulous finish from him, but he had faded a little in this second half, and maybe the heat and pace of the game just needs a breather.
Yeah, it's right. It's weird, isn't it? Because I wanted Giroud to come on, and now I don't. and Tammy Abraham, who did look a little bit tired, I thought he's not really. He looks a bit tired now, doesn't he? Maybe because he knows he's going off. But I just didn't think he was that involved. But then you only want him to burst into life when the ball's at him. I want him to take breaks. I don't want him to run himself ragged. I want him to use that dynamism when he needs it. I like that. Anyway, he's getting a good hand from the Chelsea fans, and obviously why not? Because he's had a smashing game, and his stock is definitely rising. Obviously, again, you're saying, well, he did that championship last year. This is more like a championship team, albeit a good one. But you can only score against what's put in front of you. And what we're saying is that actually Godfrey and Handley haven't played that badly today, so he must have done well then.
Yeah, I think so. I think Abraham, as you said, has developed out on loan, isn't he? So the player that Chelsea saw a few years ago is not the same Tammy Abraham that we now see, is it? He's a more developed, a more rounded player, a player who is more used to starting in a starting 11 rather than just being somebody who comes off the bench as a young lad for a few minutes here and there. So
and like managing your season as well for playing a lot, toughening up, playing through knocks, that kind of thing. I mean, I saw him in that brilliant 4-4 draw between Villa and Forest last season, and I think he scored 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was a great game, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was, and he was super. He got man of the match there when Joel Ollie had scored one and created 3 for Forest. But Abraham just was the ace in the pack that day. Anyway, Norwich 2, Chelsea 3, and it was coming. They've been the better team. So although Farker looks on and thinks, we're good and we've given it a go, they have petered off second half. Norwich somehow need to find their way, and Campbell now over the halfway line looking. And again, he dives out the way, and Martin Atkinson, good referee, and he's saying, no, I don't want that. As Aarons loses the ball and Chelsea can come again. Yeah, he got mugged once, didn't he? And maybe the voice in his ears says, Martin, do you know you got fooled there by Campbell, that last decision? Anyway, he's keeping his eye out for him now. It's Chelsea play up from the back with Christensen, then Aspilicueta. Just being pushed back a little bit now, Chelsea, as Jorginho picks it up. Pulisic, lovely ball to Kovacic, gets it back. Now he's herring away down the right-hand side. But Jamal Lewis can get there. Good ball into the middle. Good step over. Chance for Barkley. He cuts. Right foot to strike. Hits the back of Godfrey. Bounces into the box. And Giroud will just shepherd that ball out for a corner. Again, I don't know how he does it, Pulisic, but how many inch-perfect balls is that guy going to play today? And the step over was superb, wasn't it, from Mason Mount? And again, maybe Barkley comes onto that first time and strikes it. It was a decent cut, but he always seems to take that extra touch that just allows a blocker to come in.
Yeah, I wanted to see that one first time again. It was like the one with Jorginho in the first half, wasn't it, when he should have taken it and didn't. And again from Barkley, just have a go first time.
Kovacic, interesting ball in, and Kroll under pressure, drops the ball is chipped in, but are we giving it for a foul on the referee? I don't know about that. We'd like to take another look at that. Does it stand? Does it not stand? Kurt Zuma looks interested. Martin Atkinson saying we're going VAR.
Yeah, we are. I don't see it. Well, I don't know. Second time I see more of a foul from Giroud, who kind of jumps into the keeper. But let's have a look.
He's got eyes on the ball, but he doesn't get the ball.
No, he doesn't.
And then Krul's got it in his hands, and Giroud's bundled into him, really.
I must admit, I thought to start off with that Krul had dropped it first of all onto the back of Giroud rather than anything else. But I think having seen it, as you say, I think Giroud comes into him and then he drops the ball. I think as the contact is there.
In fairness, Giroud's only got eyes for the ball.
Yes, yeah, he's not trying to foul him.
If he's jumping against the centre back, then nothing's given. But he's jumping against the goalkeeper who had it in his hands and then drops the ball, so it's going to be given as a free kick.
Well, Chelsea still have the advantage at 3-2 going into the latter stages of the game, but we've seen chances at both ends and Norwich coming agonisingly close to an equaliser. A corner from the left-hand side. The big defender, Ben Godfrey, was up from the back, got his head to it, but saw his header come rattling back off the crossbar with Aretha Balaga totally beaten. At the other end, Barkley's had an opportunity on the edge of the box. His shot, though, was blocked, and then Chelsea did have the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled out after a VAR intervention, quite rightly, for a foul by Giroud on the goalkeeper. Norwich making substitutions to try and change the game. Giroud coming off the bench as well for Chelsea, but it's still Norwich 2, Chelsea 3.
So change it back to be made. So Benny's one of them. Looking for whoever else. Kenny McLean will come on into midfield, and he's at Mario Vrancic, who's going to come on too. So it looks like a triple change. It could be on the cards. and we're waiting for that to happen. Just for the moment, though, corner is taken. Jamal Lewis robbed of the ball. And now Chelsea on the counter-attack again. Brilliant work, brilliant feet here from Kovacic. He's got 4 against 3. He can find a good ball. He does. Finds Pulisic. Puts a good ball across the face. Decent defending, though, again by Godfrey. Gets across and deals with that. In fact, no, crediting the wrong man, I think. Might be Hanley who got across, but terrific from Kovacic. He's having one of his best games in a Chelsea shirt. Scampering, then finds the right ball. Pulisic, ball across. And then it was Hanley with the intervention there. Steps across and stops what might be a tap-in for Giroud. As we're 10 minutes to go. And Tribal goes off, Stiepermann goes off, Leitner goes off. And they are Norwich light today. They're the players who didn't really assert themselves. Vrancic, Sebeni, McLean come on. So one attacker, 2 midfielders. I agree with that. I think that needed to happen. And also that tells you that Daniel Farke, his eyes are open and he's seen what is wrong. Sometimes they make weird changes and you think, well, what's all that about? I think those who aren't working you take off and replace with those who you hope do, and for me he's got it bang right.
Yeah, I think I would have wanted to make that change a little earlier after the goal, maybe 5 minutes or so ago, but it is the right change. But the worry for Norwich is that's the midfield 3, isn't it, who they expect to be able to run a game and deal with a game and deal with what's in front of them from a Chelsea point of view, and they haven't been able to do it today after the first 15 minutes or so, when Chelsea were a little bit disjointed, mainly because of the change they had to make before the start of the game. That looked like once Chelsea settled down, overall you would say Chelsea have dominated midfield.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think then if that engine's not working, then you strip it out and go again. If the players play differently, and they've got Sebeni as an attacker, so they might do, you're going to change the terms of the engagement, if you like. And here come Norwich down the left-hand side, an opportunity into box they go, and one of the substitutes picks that ball up. Vrancic, his laid back is not particularly great, but the ball now into midfield. An opportunity then for Kenny McLean, the Scot, to hold on to the ball and draws a challenge there from Giroud. That'll be a free kick. Chance to load the box up then, and can Norwich get something? We've seen Godfrey win his last header in the box from Christensen, who went down poleaxe to spare his blushes, we thought, after that. That looks like a mismatch if he can isolate himself again. But let's see. They're all in there. Pookie waiting to sniff one. Godfrey at the far post. Ball goes to the far post. Too far. Way too far. And Godfrey can't get there.
Yeah, it was looking for him, as you say, pulled away a long way towards that right-hand side to be able to find a little bit of space in there. As we see again the replay of the goal that wasn't for Zuma, as the foul by Giroud on the keeper. We see it again, Tim Krul, ball in hands, and then as the contact comes in from Giroud, it's enough to knock it out of his hands and therefore give Kurt Zuma the opportunity. He was still almost missed, actually, didn't he, from the shot in, as Krul almost got his foot to it. But yeah, I think the more we look at it, the more you see that the referee was spot on there, as the challenge came. It's an inadvertent challenge from Giroud. He's trying to put the keeper under pressure, and as you say, the two of them accidentally collide, but always going to be a free kick when the keeper's got ball in hand.
Yep, Mason Mount just got shot on there, didn't he? And in the end that was just a little bit naughty. I think we were waiting for play to stop there, just Norwich trying to get the ball back. That's what you get for messing about. But
yes, yeah. Yes, he did. I think in slow motion that possibly looks worse than it actually did in real life, as it were. I'm not quite sure it was deliberate from Godfrey in that sense, although I think he was getting a little bit fed up, as you say, of Mason Mount messing around with the ball, and so there was a bit of frustration from the Norwich man as Pulisic goes off, Willian on, another one, job done, as with Abraham before. Pulisic, superb game from him, and certainly a well-deserved round of applause and pat on the back from his manager Frank Lampard.
Willian comes on, and the work rate and quality that he has got, so that's terrific. It's the last thing you want to see, isn't it, if you're tired? Willian running past you, and he will be. And here he is on the ball, and immediately scampers past Lewis. That's brilliant work from Buendia. The game's long in the tooth for your attacking midfielder to be back and challenging to win the ball where he did. Lewis a ball forward, Pukki lays it back. Not a great ball from him. Norwich able to go again. Giroud just watching as we see a long ball out from the back, but Pukki can't bring it in. Jorginho out of his feet. Barclay, first time ball hits the referee, and he's saying, right, okay, we'll have the ball back, and I'm very sorry, everybody. Well, they lost an advantage there, didn't they? So, quite how he restarts this, I don't know. Looks like he wants to take it himself, Martin Atkinson.
Yeah, he drops the ball to Chelsea, isn't he? That's the new ruling, that if you, as it were, gain an advantage or stop an advantage in that way from hitting the referee, then play has to stop. It didn't used to. You just said it's play on, it's fair enough. But if an advantage is gained by either side from that, and there's a change of possession, then the new ruling is the referee drops the ball down.
Yeah, there's no contested drop balls anymore.
No, there isn't. No.
That's a shame, watching players.
I know, kick 10 balls out of each other on the halfway line. It's not going to happen anymore, I'm afraid, unfortunately. See that refereeing course in the summer was worth it.
Yeah,
I've learnt something.
Yeah, ball laid back by Asplqueta to his keeper, and there is a Norwich player down in back plate. Yeah, there've been one or two changes. I think the weird one for me is that the sub's got to go off where he is. Now, if you just scored against your arch rivals Cop, then you're at the far end. You've got to walk back right across them. You probably don't want that walk, do you?
No, the referee does have discretion to force somebody to come off at the halfway line should the need arise, and I think that would class as one of those, certainly. But if you're a player who's just scored your second like Abraham, and you go off at the opposite side of Stamford Bridge and get a round of applause as you walk all the way around the ground, very nice for you, isn't it?
Terrific. I was just thinking about the Celtic player who scores at
Ibrox,
the winner.
He'll be coming off at halfway, don't worry about that. I would be, if I knew I was coming off, I'd be stood in front of the manager waiting to come off at that point.
Unless he wants to add to his coin collection.
Well,
anyway, the ball laid back to Tim Krul, who left foot, side foots that, but to no one in particular. Christensen takes it in, lays it back to Kepa. Aretha Balaga had nothing to do really second half. The only bit of action was watching him watch the ball hit his crossbar. Again, Norwich pick it up. Norwich were great the first half, weren't they? And it really has petered off. Do you think it's a fitness thing, or what do you think happened to them?
I just think they've started to get overrun in midfield and found it difficult. You think about Cantwell, who had a really good first 20 minutes or so and then faded away for the game. We've complimented Buendia for his game, but again, second half he's been cut out of the game, and I think Chelsea's midfield has worked Norwich out through that central position, because I think they were carrying a couple of passengers. Tribal and Leitner and Steeperman particularly I thought was really poor today, and I think a couple of passengers in midfield against this Chelsea midfield, and suddenly you're into a different situation. I think that's been the problem for Norwich. If you're going to play the top side, and Chelsea will be a top side, it will take a little bit of time, but there's no question this is a top six side for me in the Premier League, no matter who they're under, in that sense, that from Norwich point of view, if you've got two passengers in midfield, that's too many.
Yeah, exactly. You can't afford one, can you? Let alone two. So everybody has got to be of the quality. And here they come. Jamal Lewis into the box. He goes, puts the cross in, but Zuma comes across and deals with that before he goes to Pukki. So that's been dealt with. Norwich showing plenty of spirit, and Mason Mount goes down again. A bit bored of that. I don't see why they've got to put the ball out. He mightn't be cramp or something. I mean, he got shot on a while ago, but that's because he was faffing about with the ball. And the Norwich fans are unhappy because why is the game stopping?
Well, yes, I'm baffled, but I mean, he is in a position that's an awkward one in terms of from an attacking point of view as Norwich go through, because he sat on the edge of his own penalty area, but he's not a head injury, therefore it is down to the referee to decide. And in that situation, I think you allow Norwich to play on. Just looking at one or two of the descriptions, we haven't got the feed obviously from the referee, but the suggestion is that Martin Atkinson actually gave the goal from Kurt Zuma and then was overruled by VAR quite rightly when the replays were shown.
He likes a lot of
I must admit, first instance I thought Krul had dropped it first and then had been hit by Giroud, but as you say, as soon as you saw the replay it was pretty clear there wasn't, and from where we're looking, from the pictures we're seeing, obviously it's a long way away from the actual incident.
I agree, because I just thought, well, too much protection for the referee. In real time, it looks like, he's just dropped the ball. But in slow-mo you just see he had the ball, and then Giroud just absolutely takes it off him. Godfrey was strong into the back of Mason Mount there, wasn't he? And those two have had a bit of a battle, and yeah, Godfrey's won that battle to some degree, giving him a bit of biff. That's what Mason Mount's saying. But he now has to go off, and Marcus Alonso comes on. Chelsea really have shut up shop, haven't they?
And he will go off at the nearest point, you'll notice.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't want to walk round.
Find the Chelsea fans and walk that way around, even if it's longer. That's what.
Didn't want to walk round Carrow Road, does he? You never get home.
He scored last time out, I think, as well for Derby last season, didn't he, at Norwich, and has done it again. So not the most popular person around Carrow Road, except in front of the Chelsea fans, which is where he's gone off, and he's obviously getting a really good round of applause from them, not surprisingly, after a good game as well.
Yeah, he's played well, hasn't he? I'm warming to Mount, and he was good last year. You know, he might have been Derby's best player, but he did well. Norwich on the ball and got a late back to their keeper before they can go forward. Troll again launches it left-footed. Pukki's hunting, but nobody's finding him this second half. You know, Pukki's had a great game, hasn't he, and a great start to the season. But Norwich have been disappointing this second half. They've gone out like a light. We're into a stoppage time. There's plenty of time, and here come Norwich, left-hand side, opportunity. As Azpilicueta though makes it difficult for Aarons. What's Aarons doing out on that left-hand side? I don't know, but anyway, William there with the challenge. Gets one of the subs. I think it might have been McLean. As the ball breaks to Kenny McLean in the middle of the park. He's trying to steer it around the corner. It's a poor ball from him. It will be a goal kick. Aretha Balaga will take his time. Farkas getting a little bit shouty and a bit frustrated, really, what's going on. I've seen them a lot, Norwich, and they were great in the first half, and that's what I expect of them. This second half is as tepid as I've seen them. You know, last season I didn't see them drop away like this. This is the Premier League, though. They were up against 11 really super fit lads, I thought, today. Chelsea and their conditioning team and whatever they've done pre-season, I think must have been superb. Don't forget, they had to get ready for a Super Cup and stuff like that. So they, I think he knew he needed a flying start. Here is Barkley's shot. Oh, he's not too far away with a left foot strike. There, he picked it up and had a go, and that was better. Barkley's shown glimpses today, and that's a left foot strike. In fact, did Krull get a touch on that?
Yeah, I think he did. Just got a right hand on it. It was possibly, just sneaking in, looking at the angle. Yes, it was a good save from Tim Krull. I thought for a second it was outside of the post kind of scenario, but it wasn't. It was just going to sneak in. So that's a good stop from Krull. Decent strike as well from Barkley on his left foot.
Yeah, it's about as good as it's got for him. Showing a bit of quality there. I keep thinking, when's it going to turn for Ross Barkley? When's he going to show us? The cross comes in. That's dealt with. Breaks the edge of there for Azpilicueta. Launched it back in. Stabbed away by McLean. Again, a nothing ball. Pukki can't get that. Zuma with the little lob wedge finds it. Barkley. Alonso tries to hold up ball in, and then strong challenge in the middle of the park. Emerson and Buendia coming together there, and Buendia thinks, what's the point, he's much bigger than me, and Emerson just taps him on the head. I think they were thinking about the big standoff, weren't they? I like Buendia. I was thinking last season, will he be big enough for the Premier League? But he's aggressive, competitive, and he doesn't take a backward step. He's had a good game today. Zuma wins a header, but he goes barreling into his man, and Vrancic must have felt that, but Zuma came off second best. But Chelsea going forward again. Willian turns a bad ball into a good one, and then he has a shot at goal, which is a poor one.
Yeah, poor finish in the end, wasn't it? It was going well wide. Does it flash past the post? It rattled back off the stanchion behind the goal in the end. Zuma is still laid on the floor. Not surprising, actually. He went down really heavily. He beat Vrancic to the ball. Eyes on the ball. Fair challenge. Got his head to it. No problem with that at all. But then he lands right on his hip from quite a height over the top of the Norwich man. It's a fair challenge between the two of them. Nothing wrong with that at all. And Zuma doesn't think he's going to need any treatment. He finally gets himself back on his feet.
Yeah, he'll need a bath full of ice to sort that one out, won't he? Yeah. And Zuma hobbles back to where he was. I mean, it's fully committed. That's what he is, isn't it? You know what you're getting. He doesn't play any games or pull any punches. He's enthusiastic, sometimes over enthusiastic. a bit of a Labrador sort of player, isn't he? But he, you know what you're getting from him, and it's an honest approach to the game, I think. But half a minute left, Norwich don't look like they're going to get back in. The ball goes back to Tim Krul. They've got an opportunity though. Bit of long ball, can they do something? Ball breaks to McLean in the middle of the park. Flicks it out to Lewis. Lewis then, a decent ball to the edge of the area. Maybe an opportunity, but you don't get all day. Vrancic, I could hear the beeping then as he's trying to turn like one of those lorries. Anyway, they do win the ball back, and Aarons can't spin and turn this time, and nothing is working out for Norwich. I think Chelsea, by dint of what they hanging on. Well, they took the lead twice in the first half, let's face it. But the second half performance, then they've really stepped up. And right from the get-go after the break, they've dominated the second half and deserve to win the game.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think they've been the better side, particularly, as you say, in the second half, and for spells in the first as well. Although Norwich, again, have shown this resilience that we've seen all last season. We've seen it strongly at the start of this season as well, the way they bounced back from the defeat against Liverpool, the better second half they had against Liverpool, and scored the goal at Anfield as well. That's given them some confidence moving forward. So I think they still take a little bit of confidence out of this game, despite the fact they come out of it 3-2.
Yeah, that's right. They've competed for a long time. They've played some brilliant football. Like I said, there were one or two that they'd be wanting out there. Zimmerman, and certainly, I really like the Cuban, Onel Hernandez. He's one of those real live wires. He's got goals in him as well as being super quick. He's like Adama Traore if only he had his shooting boots. He's a bit like that, and good to watch. Maybe they've liked that bit of penetration. The disappointments today, Scheibel, Leitner, Stiepermann, the guys in the middle of the park, they lost control of the game, meant that they lost the game. Here's Alonso, takes the ball, his chest, brilliant from him. Good ball into the box. Hanley does well to defend, last ditch. They've won a goal kick. The last action of the game, in fact, that was it. So it's a good win for Frank Lampard's Chelsea. They've beaten Norwich 3-2.